Every year, over 1 million animals are killed by pollution and garbage dumped in the ocean. Whether amputated by soda rings or forced to drag around huge amounts of discarded rubbish until they die, this equates to 2 animals killed every minute. Picking up some food at Walmart, you may think nothing of the plastic bags that the cashier wraps your groceries in, but like it floats away from your mind, those bags will float away to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch and into the throat of a turtle. This is just one example of the terrible condition that we have put Earth and each other in, and everyone is responsible for it. But there's still ways that we can fix it, and there are people who have already owned up to humanity's mistakes. Right now, humans are being more wasteful and reckless than ever, choking up the planet with megatons of pollution. According to the National Academy of Sciences, cargo ships and cruises have dumped 14 billion pounds of garbage into the sea. The Guardian says that 20% of the vast Chinese farmlands are polluted, and in 2015, 200,000 people died in the United States, premature deaths due to air pollution. It's easy to move the blame for these effects over to factories and coal plants, but we have to remember that the small actions that you and I both do on a daily basis have impacts as well. When you clean your house or spray pesticides, these chemicals might find their way into local water sources. The reason why EPA cites that 40% of lakes in America are too polluted for fishing, aquatic life, or swimming. Think about the last time you got in a car. Today? A few hours ago? Well, for the average car, every gallon of gas burns creates 20 pounds of carbon dioxide. And with the 300 million people in America over a year, MIT estimates that vehicle emissions account for 53,000 deaths annually. It's true that you're just one small person in a huge world. But when every person in the world thinks that, it adds up to something of unimaginable magnitude. Seeing these numbers in the millions and billions, you might start to feel hopeless about the situation. But don't be, because small actions can build up in both ways, and we can never aspire to ending pollution without trying as individuals, not just as populations, to pitch in. It can be as simple as hopping on a train instead of an SUV. As according to the Chicago Tribune, if every Chicagoan replaced one car ride, only one, every month with another form of transportation, carbon dioxide levels would decrease by at least 1.9 million tons every year. Imagine this implemented on a nationwide or global scale. Furthermore, simply recycling paper instead of throwing away ensures that tree harvest increases can be cut by 60%, allowing the planet to regenerate and heal on its own time. However, despite the clear benefits for everyone in this situation, many people still choose not to take action against pollution. In studies conducted by the Massachusetts government, some cited the barrier to recycling as difficulty moving recycling bin to curb and lack of time. It seems to be part of the human condition to be unable to accurately weigh long-term impacts against short-term inconveniences. The pain of getting up from the couch and moving a bin comparing to littering our only planet with waste. However, it's important that we remind ourselves to fight against this and say that saving the planet that we drilled, mined, and harvested for countless resources is worth the extra mile. Prime examples of proof that individual and community action work already exists, as there are many around the globe that have taken the message of responsibility to heart. Tesla Incorporated, founded in part by Elon Musk, is famous for producing cars that run solely on electric battery, designed and developed from start to finish to do so, completely void of any of the emissions that a typical car produces. And according to Forbes, in 2017, Tesla sold 100,000 cars, which will no doubt create a dent in the massive amounts of pollution that standard cars create. However, those who matter aren't just world-class entrepreneurs or innovative businesses. They can be high school students as well. In 2013, 18-year-old Boyan Slat founded the Ocean Cleanup, a non-profit organization aimed at ridding the world's oceans of garbage. Its main development is a moving passive system consisting of a floater with a solid screen underneath that condenses and leads debris to a concentration system. The system is slowed down by a drift anchor which is suspended at an approximate depth of 600 meters, making the system slower than the plastic and therefore catching it. It has been estimated that it could remove 50% of the millions of tons of garbage currently in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and so far it has caught more than 1 million pieces of plastic. It goes to show how anyone with a good idea can change the world. Obviously, not all of us can be a Boyan Slat. Regardless, even ordinary people can and do contribute. For example, in my city, Plano, cleanups are hosted every month, where dozens of volunteers show up to make the community a better place. Whether someone is the next Elon Musk or a kid who just wants cleaner parks, there is always a way for everyone to pitch in the fight against pollution. By the end of this speech, 14 innocent creatures have died gruesome, pollution-caused, human-caused deaths, killed by things that we simply couldn't be bothered to take to recycle. However, that doesn't mean that this has to go on, because it's still possible for humanity to take responsibility for their mistakes and fix the world. And thousands of people of all ages and all backgrounds have already shown us how.